Now then, welcome back to Tekkit Done in 60 days. Spaceman Nemsun here, in the space station, selling cheese to anybody who wishes to buy some. You want to buy some cheese? Well, do you? You feel lucky? Is it good cheese? Is it bad cheese? It's moon cheese, everybody. It's moon cheese. Yeah, Lewis has left a bit of a mess here. From his last episode, he was thinking of setting up a reactor over here or something, but instead he set up a cheese counter in the space station. I'm going to put this helmet back on now. Oh dear. Oh dear. I've done a bit more here after he finished up his reactor down there. Go see his episode, day 41, if you want to see how that's all working. But it seems to be filling up nicely, seems to be doing all that. I've changed the Tesseract at the top, and everything still seems to be powered nicely, so this reactor is easily powering all this. I'm going to have to do a bit of wiring changes to bring the wires of the wire wires across and around to go to all these points here. So I'm probably going to have to take it up into the ceiling or drag wires all the way around and along and see how this output here can keep the whole space station charged and ready to roll. Alright, but for now, I can't get back in this side now because I'm in the bit that isn't air sealed. The only bit of the station that's not air sealed yet. I'm thinking of doing some more air doors and stuff here. I might put another couple of airlocks in the sides here. If I can be bothered to go to the moon and run around for ages finding meteorites. I think when I'm running around looking for the schematic for the Tier 2 rocket and more moon bosses to fight in the meantime, I think then I might go and just grab any meteorites that I can find. Because it's a bit of a pain just going on its own. Up, give me flight. Give me flight. Let me through. Through the airlocks and out into space. Doesn't it look cool? Doesn't it look amazing? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Even if I say so myself, I think it looks amazing. We have crops growing and all sorts. I have been doing a scientific test. I have been testing, okay? So, what is the test? What is going on? Alright, so we've got... this feels like one of Funshine X's mod wars at the space station of Nemsun Space Station Labs. No, this is not Mod Wars. This is just testing out a few different things to see which gives us the best output. So, first of all, a controlled environment. It has, let's see, 7 solar panels. 7 solar panels, 7 solar panels, 7 solar panels. 7 solar panels on each section, currently receiving the last of the day's sun. Excellent. We better get through this quick before they all shut off power. This one over here is, well, they've all got the same amount of trees, right? This one's slightly more than others because that's a special one. This one's got flowers only. This one's got wheat growing without water. And this one's got wheat growing with water. And this one's got bone mealed grass and lots of extra leaf blocks. Lots of extra leaf blocks. So let's go and see the output quickly before we lose the light of day and everything stops working. Which I think I'm about to do. Quick. What are we on? 100. So, flowers. If you remember from last episode, we had 100, 100, and 120. Right? That was our standard. I've added all these flowers and grass and everything, and it's still 100, 100, and 120 at the ends. Right? I don't know why it's 120 on the ends. Maybe it can access more leaf blocks. But anyway, sun's going down. Let's be quick. Let's see. I'll put my night vision on. That'll give us a bit more light. Alright, on to the next one. The next one is wheat growing without water. So this is an actual growing thing, which I reckon from the wiki it said growing is best. So this is not enough power. Okay, I'll be back in the morning and we'll do some more. So, I've just been sitting here watching my oxygen supply go down while all of these huge array of tanks filled with oxygen are sitting in the life support system of the space station. and my oxygen tank's just sitting running low. I'm gonna let these guys run out. I've got a spare, it's okay. But witnessing all of the solar panels switch direction to point at the sun is pretty cool. I like it. But I've been hanging around, just waiting for daylight. So now we should be getting power. Yes, here we go. Power coming in, oxygen will start getting made, and away we go. So this is still at its collecting maximum. It's going to even out and sort itself out very soon. These oxygen storage all look full, but I'm not so sure they are absolutely full. Have a quick look. Yeah, that's full. So it shouldn't have anywhere to put oxygen right now. So it should be producing a good amount of oxygen any minute now. Alright, so what were we at? We were at 100 down the centre and 120 on each end. Well, with wheat growing, which it's not growing very fast because this is space, and we've only just got daylight coming back, and all of that stuff, there's no water and all that, we've got 140, 140, 140, and 160. So wheat growing has basically added 40. Yeah, because this was 120. Basically added 40 oxygen per second just by having a decent amount. I mean, there's not a huge amount, but it's a decent amount of wheat growing close by to the oxygen collector. So we're up to 140. There we go. Now it's boosting up a bit more. It's catching up. 140. There we go. All right. So 160 on the middle bit there. 160 there. 180 on the end. So maybe the more fully grown wheat is actually presenting us with more than the growing wheat. Yeah, we're on 140 there, and this side is pretty much a mirror image, but it's doing 160. So the slightly more grown wheat looks like it's doing better, which is interesting. So we're up plus 60. That's still the same, but then it's got some ungrown stuff right in front of it, and that hasn't got any grown pieces in close proximity. And this guy over here should have this one. 160. No, it's not making that much difference. But anyway, on with the test. So we're up about 40 to 60 there, depending on whether it's grown or ungrown. Over here we've got water as well. So the wheat is growing, and it has pockets of water placed. Right? I'll put lily pads on so I can walk over it easy. These currently don't have any fully grown wheat, which could mean that we're missing out on potentially 20 more than that one over there. But in general, let's have a look. 140, 140, 140, and 160. So we can assume from that wheat grows, wheat growing, wheat being around, gives the same whether it's got water or not. And when it's fully grown, it gives that little bit extra, gives an extra 20. So fully grown wheat seems to be the best so far, to give us 160 in all of these. Right? So between 140 and 160 for wheat growing, with or without water. So that makes no difference having the water. I think the wheat may just grow faster with water. I planted that area first, so this area hasn't really caught up with it. You would expect so. And the final little test that I've got set up here is just extra leaf blocks and yeah, just bone mealed grass basically. So this whole place is just jam-packed, so I can just about get round. I've increased the head height by bringing it down an extra level. I've filled in all around the glass so that I've just got this little route around the trees. I could remove these as well and add more leaf blocks. I'm sure that would improve it even more. But let's have a look. Let's have a look, see what we got. I've even put them here, look, just to fill in any odd gaps without covering the actual oxygen collector itself. And this is up to 220. 240. 240. 220. So we're getting at least 100 extra. At least 100 extra by using just leaves. And on the wiki it said that the leaves would despawn, which meant we'd probably need an actual tree farm or something. But I still haven't witnessed any of these leaves despawning. So maybe the configs don't tell the right tale. Maybe the configs... I've looked into the configs when I changed it for all the glass. I changed it for this glass and this glass to be allowed to seal in the space station. But the configs also said leaf blocks true. So it would do the leaf blocks running out. The leaf blocks would disintegrate. So that's what we got there. That's our test done for this lot. There's not much more I need to do with this now. The space station is pretty much done. I've just got to finish sealing it in. Remove the cheese counter. Maybe give the quarters something to do if we need something to do. And the power now is coming up through here into this section for the airlocks. Generally, the power from the reactor is working wonders. I wonder if we could turn the power off to the reactors if we wanted to. This is currently still being powered by the big reactor. So I've got to change that around as well to see if that little reactor is doing enough. I say little reactor, it's a bit of an upgrade really. It's doing huge amounts of power coming out. I can't really show you though. You'll have to have a look at Lewis's episode and see what his results were. And yeah, this space station, the way it's laid out, these are only using like 320 oxygen per second for each little section, and that middle section also. So what would that be? 1280 a second. And those devices up there, those little things that we've got running around over here, these oxygen storage things produce 2000, or they move 2000 per second, and with 200 being produced per second over, well, many oxygen collectors on either side, I'm producing way more oxygen than I actually need, just so that it's cosmetically, aesthetically looking nice. Those things do look cool as the platforms up above. Rather than just having a few of them, I've now got a large life support system all in place at the space station. Space station build, I'm happy with it. I'm pleased with it. I may need to go and have a wander around on the outside because these airlocks and stuff need a bit of stuff doing as well. May wander down and just go and check out the underside a little bit more, because now let's hover up here. Now Lewis has down. Now Lewis has put his reactor in over there, you see. We've got a shape forming of the space station, and I've got to do something with this underside a little bit more to add in some more detail and character, bring this down. It's still cobblestone, it's still just what I was intending, but it's looking pretty good from the outside. I may do some more work around here now Lewis has done his reactor as well. I've got some more of this work to do on the edges, so it's more building work and cosmetics, which I'll do while Lewis is probably figuring out all his LHC to come around here. We'll do it that way. So that is the space station sorted. Now, I want to get back downstairs, and I want to go back down to Earth so I can go to the moon. And we're going to the moon so that we can start our next little project, the Donkey Derby. So, turn that off. I'm going to get together a few bits and pieces and start working out some ideas. We're going to have... Well, I'll show you in the next part of the episode. I will join you back after a small break. Alrighty then, let's do some crafting. It's crafting time on the Tekkit server. Right, so what I'm looking at is going to be using bubble distributors. Okay, so I'm going to just take, let's say, 3 to start off with, right? Actually, make it 4. And oxygen collectors. Now, a bubble distributor, let's see if we can get the maths right on this. An oxygen bubble distributor uses 160 per second, right? And we have found, through our little testing, that one oxygen collector surrounded by leaves can produce that much. So oxygen collector, I do actually have some spares, so well, loads. So I've got some spares. There's a bubble distributor as well as a spare. We'll craft up some of these. Let's take another stack if we can. So we're basically going to take the oxygen collector from oak leaves. Is just going to collect 200 per second, and the bubble distributor is then going to take 160. It's that simple. Really that simple. Crafting 101, job done. The most important thing is probably getting the donkeys up there, because I want to jump donkeys from bubble to bubble. I think that's going to be a funny race. Alright guys, well, I've done a little bit of testing and setting up. And as you can see, I've got a bubble of oxygen around me here. Bubble of oxygen. I've got another little one over there. We'll get to that in a moment. This, statistic-wise, seems to be the best I've got the setup so far. It's 7 by 7? No, 7 by 5. 4 high of mostly leaf blocks. I put some light sources in there as well. And that is collecting 160 per second. And it's outputting that to the oxygen distributor, which is using 160 per second. So it's going nowhere, doing nothing. I could have it collect more, but the bubble distributor doesn't make more. I've currently got it hooked up to a tesseract down there from the reactor to give it power. And this is just like a little bubble on the moon, a little bubble of oxygen on the moon. And then a short ways away, I've got another bubble of oxygen. But this one I decided to set down below, so I'm collecting the oxygen from underground, and I tried to set this up with as many leaf blocks as I could until I got the right amount. So it's quite a big thing. It's 4 away from the thing, then 4 away from the oxygen collector in all directions. And this, can I get to it? Can I? Yeah, there we go. This is collecting 280 per second. So more than enough oxygen per second being collected by it with this large area of leaves around it. Right, so we've got that. That's our oxygen collection system. Oh, come on, jump out, come on. I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Oh, I can't do it, okay, fine. Can I do it now? Yes, I can. If I use my rocket pack, then I go way, way, way up in there. Alright, so this one has got the tesseract again coming from the big reactors. And this one is still only using 160 per second. So that's its maximum output, 160 per second, because I'm giving it plenty more. And this bubble is the same size as the other bubble. So we've got the oxygen bubbles. Now, what I'm thinking of doing with this, right, is having this as like the start area where we spawn in, having this as a start location. Let me put the map up. Okay, so we've got a start location here, and I'm thinking of having it so that we go from one bubble to the next bubble, and then come over, and there'll be another bubble in this crater, and make the crater sort of like a bit of a terrain problem, and then up the next one, and you've got to go across to this crater, and then you've got that crater as a bit of an obstacle, and then through to the next crater, but they've got a double oxygen supply there for the craters, into another crater, up and over and round, and you've got to turn and come back around on yourself. I'm thinking of a race course. If you can see my map, this race course here. Gonna go down another area, up another crater. So we're going in and out of craters, which should slow process down a bit. And also there's a few like gaps in the floor that we could possibly use as well. And then there's a little shortcut over here to this bubble, and then round the outside we've got the home stretch coming up now. We'll probably put a bubble here and another bubble down here, and then race to the finish with no bubbles in sight to try and get back to the start finish area. That's my idea for a race. A little race course just around this spawn area on the moon. So I'm going to seal in a few of more of these oxygen collectors, put some lights on and some power supplies and stuff like that, get all that hooked up. I've gone and collected a load more leaf blocks, and I've got a little chest over here that gives me, well, stores a load of stuff from the station and the overworld. No, not that one. the chest, which is basically my little ender chest for sorting building stuff. So I've got some glass, and I've got some tin decoration blocks. I've got all the dirt and moon stuff and tin decorations, and some more oxygen collectors, a couple of tesseracts, and so on and so on and so on, and some bits and pieces to construct this amazing thing. But I also need a sort of a donkey spawner. Looks like the sun's going down, coming up. Need a bit of a donkey spawner as well, so that we can grab donkeys, and if they die, we can just grab another donkey, and off we go on another race. Also going to make it so that it can be used for the space buggies as well. I think that'll be cool. Space buggies. Right, well, that is that really. That's like a science episode today. A bit of a science episode today. Oh, check this out. Look, I don't need my oxygen anymore. Awesome. Thank you very much for watching another episode of Tekkit Done in 60 days. Hope today you learnt a little bit more about Galactic Craft. I definitely did. I've learned a hell of a lot more about Galactic Craft, and I think I'm safe in the knowledge now that I can set up oxygen supplies anywhere in Galactic Craft that I need to. So, thank you very much. Once again, I will see you in the next episode of Tekkit Done in 60 days.